So I wrote a book of poems for my thesis. I am going to be reading one of my poems today to end our class off called Never Stop Eating Pomegranate. This is my classmate, roommate, and friend. She'll be helping me read this poem today. Okay. Step 1. Roll the pomegranate on a cutting board to loosen the seeds. Transgender flight attendant Kaylee Scott, 25, recently found dead in her Colorado home after unleashing this to Instagram. As I take my final breaths and exit this earth, I would like to apologize to everyone I let down. I am so sorry I cannot be better. To those that I love, I am sorry I cannot be stronger. To those that gave me everything, I'm sorry that my effort was not reciprocated. Please understand that me leaving is not a reflection of you, but the result of my own inability to turn myself better. Scott's death sent shockwaves through the LGBTQ+ community since she's recently paired on a United Airlines commercial which featured her in a diversity campaign. Scott enjoyed mountain climbing and skiing in her off hours, but she did not enjoy the immense amount of embarrassment she endured because she did not fit in, which resulted in her own miserable death.
Step 2, cut the pomegranate in half. Soak it in water to remove the white parts. 16-year-old Ralph Yarl shot and wounded on April 13th in Kansas City after trying to pick up his twin brothers from a friend's house around 10 p.m. Yarl rang the doorbell of the wrong house and was greeted by Andrew Lester, 84, a white homeowner. Yarl was shot twice by Lester in the head and arm while being told to not come back here. Yarl attempted to find help, but it took the third home to call the police for him. Yarl's mother states, while he was standing there, his brothers didn't run outside, but he got a couple bullets in his body instead of a couple twins coming out, giving him a hug. Andrew Lester entered a not guilty plea in court. It is obvious that Ralph Yarl, the 16-year-old boy, was racially profiled and nearly escaped death by Lester's evil and racist beliefs.
Step 3. Take the pomegranate out of the water and chip away at the remaining white parts with your fingers. Twyla Weens, 36, fatally shot by her husband Ernest Weens, 41, Monday morning on February 27th in Hinds County, Mississippi. Records from court show that Ernest Weens has been charged with domestic violence before. Weens appears confused in court when being told the charges he has faced due to the actions he forcefully and violently applied to his wife, Twyla Weens. Unfortunately, Wendy Mahoney released that this case is tricky because she was pregnant and carrying a child, so we have 2 lives that were lost. Doctors believe that the pregnant women should be screened for signs of domestic abuse. Though, doctors don't mention that a man who has been convicted of domestic violence in the past should be regularly checked and held accountable for continuous abuse before it's too late.
Step 4, obtain a wooden spoon from your kitchen and bring to the pomegranate. At Severna Park High School in Baltimore, Principal Lindsay Abruzzo sent a letter to parents urging them to act on the recent video clips that show students bullying a student with special needs. Abruzzo asks parents to confront students about their comfortability in the school and to investigate if their child knows more about the situation. The special needs student heard phrases that are belittling and demeaning to a person with special needs. They also imply a threat of harm to the student on the receiving end who is a student with special needs. Abruzzo's letter home addresses that the school continues and will continue to work hard to create an inclusive and kind environment, an environment where one incident is too many. But the school fails to admit that this is not just one instance and that it is entirely impossible for something so extreme as this to be the first time something has ever happened. Schools only protect their image.
Step 5. Obtain a large bowl and place your pomegranate face down in the bowl. Bakria Lopez, a resident of Los Angeles, California, is known for her amazing, tasty, authentic restaurant called Guelaguetes. Lopez offers a cuisine from her home, Oaxaca, Mexico, where she welcomes immigrant families, famous Mexican stars, and even city official Nuri Martinez, the first elected Latino president in Los Angeles, California. A scandal becomes widespread of Martinez making racist remarks about Oaxaca's leaves Lopez feeling betrayed. Lopez states that every time these people look at me in the face, they were all lying to me. We should not let these people continue to lie to us and tell us that we're less than, or we are ugly, or allow them to laugh at us. Martinez has since resigned from her council seat and has apologized. Although we failed to bring up that racism and prejudice as an extreme and hurtful when people of color discriminate on other people of color. Racism and colorism, discrimination against dark-skinned people within the same ethnic group, run centuries deep in Mexico and other neighboring Latin American countries.
Step 6, hold your pomegranate with one hand while you repeatedly beat the pomegranate with the wooden spoon. Ahmed Abu Murkia, 25, a gay male from Jerusalem was found with a severed head and decapitated torso in the West Bank in front of an LGBTQ+ shelter on October 7, 2022. Murkia was terrified of persecution from the government. Homosexuality is a very taboo subject in the Palestinian culture and religion, which led many civilians to question if this act was fair. Many civilians that are of LGBTQ+ seek asylum in Israel for their own safety. A radio station host in Israel believes, crossed every single red line in our society, whether in terms of morals, customs, and basic humanity. Murkia seems to have fled his home and was planning on going to Canada in hopes of having a more equal life. But it's the fact that everywhere in the world people feel their life threatened due to their sexuality that they need to move far away to a country that has just restricted gay men from donating sperm.
Step 7, beat both sides of the pomegranate forcefully until all seeds have fallen out in the bowl. 2 Muslim men in the U.S. demand answers when their flight from Alabama to Texas on September 14, 2019 was canceled due to concerns raised by a crew member and a passenger. A flight attendant announced a delay on the plane when Izam Abdallah went to the bathroom. Shortly after this, the crew told all passengers that the flight was canceled for security reasons. After Abdallah and Abdurrauf Al-Qawadeh exited the plane, an FBI agent questioned each of them in a private room. The agent told Mr. Abdallah that a passenger felt unsafe and that he flushed twice. He states, "I felt that they were discriminating against my ethnicity, my religion." Both were apologized to and allowed on the next flight. But that doesn't hold the crew or the passenger accountable for their racially charged remarks. Events like this prove that we have no growth since 9/11, and big companies like American Airlines do not have the just policies in place. Step 8, enjoy your delicious, sweet, and hard-earned pomegranate seeds. It will take many steps in our nation and world for changes to be made and for policies to be adopted by everyone. Hopefully, in the near future, we can make in accepting minority groups and the awareness of the racial microaggressions we hold can become vastly greater. The steps to this outcome may be long and tiring, but the outcome is crucial. When biting into the seeds of a pomegranate, you must remember that they are only seeds, only tiny, slippery gels that provide an instance of flavor, but are very much worth the hassle. The seeds may be tiny, but if planted perfectly, the outcome is much greater. Our world needs more people who are willing to put in the work for change. So please never stop eating pomegranate.